Welcome tech lovers, Brar here. Today I am going to cover mastering Docker Compose. This is the part 23 of Docker 0 to Hero series. In this video we will learn Docker Compose to run the application stack. Devops in Action channel is more focused on DevOps in easy way. You always found complexity in simplicity here. Each video guide is available in video's description. Here will be only action. Channel name is Devops in Action. So let's jump to the lab without any delay. Open GitHub link and you can find out the all Docker 0 to Hero series here, and we are on day 23. So let's start. Basically, what is a Docker Compose? Docker Compose is a multi-container orchestration tool which helps us to run multiple containers on a single command. It will spin up defined services, defined application in the Docker Compose. Doesn't matter its count, right? And we define it in YAML format. So what is the why we use it? Docker Compose. Why not Docker run command? In Docker run command, there are a lot of issue we were facing. That's the reason we are using Docker run Docker Compose command. So let's discuss one by one. Here you can see disadvantage of Docker run command, and let's say if you have one application which have multiple services like front end, back end, database, Redis, and other some dependencies like multiple APIs. In that case, you need to run each command manually, and even you face some issue during the startup, and it's time consuming. So that is not a best practices. That's the reason we use Docker Compose. And other thing is the no central configuration. So here we put each and everything in Docker command plus env file. So we can save, we can commit our configuration in any Git repository, either in GitHub, GitLab, or any other subversion control. Next one is the difficult to reproduce, maintain. So let's say if you want to recreate, then you need to type a long command for one services, and if you have, let's say, 10 plus services, then you need to type there maybe you face some typo error. So again, it's time consuming, and you can face error during the run command, and also sometime you need to debug it if you put some wrong entries. Limited environment variable and network management. Here if you want to add multiple environment, then your command will be bigger and bigger, and either you can put the env file. Again, let's say if you want to manage, if you want to assign multiple network, again this is take a lot of time and a lot of your attention, which is not good. Next one is the no built-in service dependency. Built-in service dependency is basically let's say if you have service like shopping service, and there will be one maybe web API and databases. So database must be on first, and after that API, after that the web. So with the Docker run command, you need to take care it manually, but in this Docker Compose you don't need to take care, just define the dependency, and based on that it will start database first, and after that API, after that web front end. And next one is the harder to clean up. So let's say if you want to clean one by one, then you need to find out each and everything and stop it and clean. That is again time consuming and require expertise, and sometime maybe it's happen. Let's say if you are running multiple containers and multiple services in your environment, by mistake you can delete your other projects containers. That is again very horrible things. And limited scalability. So Docker Compose also support the scalability, and with the Docker run command you cannot scale. We will see in the upcoming session how to scale Docker containers. And the last one is the upgrade complexity. This is the very important thing. I will face many time related to upgrade issue with the Docker run command. When you use Docker run command and after let's say 6 months we want to upgrade it, and even I forget what was the environment variable, what was the volume, what is the host mount, I need to remember, and it's very critical things to upgrade it. And we need to find out using docker inspect, and after that rewrite the Docker run command, and after that stop and upgrade it. It is very complex. I don't like it. Okay, this is the basically Docker run command disadvantage. That's the reason we are using Docker Compose. So here is the core component of Docker Compose. In the Docker Compose, the main component is the services. With the services, you can run your container without using networks and volumes, but service is mandatory, and after that top of it you can use network and volumes. Service, if you are using service behind the scene, it is using the network, but if you define, then it is let's say explicitly defined by you. Okay, so service is the representative container where you define a file docker compose.yml or YAML. Okay, the next one is compose. My bad, I did mistaken here, missed the compose C. Okay, so after either use compose YML or YAML, doesn't matter, and you can define their image, build, context, export, environment variable. There are a lot of things, and we will learn in this video. Okay, the next one is the network. Network is the optional, but if you define, then it is okay, otherwise behind the scene it is going to use the default network, so no worries about that. We will simply start with the services, and after that see each and everything. And default network is required to communicate container to container. That's the reason. And you can define your custom network as well. The last one is the volumes to persist data. So host mounting is a option, but if you define volume, then it will be best options. And in the volume section here you can see 14 and 15. I already explained what is volume and how you can use it, why it is important, why it is mandatory over the host. So you can define volume here. Okay, so why we use Docker Compose? Again, the same thing we already explained here, why we use Docker Compose over the Docker run command, but again here some summary available. So simplified control: define, configure, manage multiple services in single YAML file. No complex orchestration commands needed. it save a lot of time, and you can decide dependency at each and everything whatever you want. Okay, efficient collaboration. Easily you can share your Docker Compose file with your team, ensuring everyone run on the same setup. So we will see multiple examples in this video, don't worry, and we have a lot of things for you, okay, in this video. Rapid deployment. Compose reuses existing container when no changes are made, making restart super fast during the deployment. Let's say if you have multiple container and you want to redeploy it with the single command, you can redeploy multiple container, you can restart, you can stop, whatever you want with the single command you can do, but with the docker run command you cannot. Portability across environment. Yes, here again the same thing. Let's say if you have multiple environment like dev, QA, staging and production, so if you are using docker run command, then you need to type again and again for the all environment. But if you are using Docker Compose, it is very helpful. Just copy paste it or upload the compose file there or clone the compose file there and run simple docker compose -d. That's it. Strong community support. Here Docker is very mature, you know, and community is very strong. There are a lot of documentation, there are a lot of examples, so no worries about the help related issue. So after watching this video, I hope you will be a kung fu master of Docker Compose for sure. Docker Compose benefits, again it's repeat: fast and easy configuration with YAML script, single host deployment made simple, boosted developer productivity, enhanced security through the isolated containers. It is very simple thing, nothing else. Prerequisite is you have to install Docker. So I already provided the link here. Based on your operating system you can install, and it is very simple. I hope so. If you are watching my video, you must have expertise in the installation steps, and this is the Compose release latest version 2.4.02. okay, so either use these things, either you can install manually. So install Docker manually with this command, or run this Docker Compose manually here. Okay, so let's jump to the lab here in the terminal and we will see. So let's check Docker Compose version. My Compose version is the older version 2.210, and now it's running, you can see in the release 2.4.02. So let's upgrade. Simply either single click, either copy one by one. So I want to prefer one by one to check if it is working fine or it is giving error. Okay, what's wrong here? We missed something. What we missed? Okay, basically this is the best command, and by mistake I'm using the ZSH and it is not parsing. No worries, I'm going in the root mode and again doing the same thing. You can see it is working fine. done, and copy done. Let's check the version now. Okay, permission denied. Why? I'm just putting temporary 2402 and Docker Compose. Yes, install plugin as well. Okay, Docker plugin installed. Let's check the version. Why plugin version is showing the older one? Okay, my Linux is the older, that is not supported. Okay, no worries. One more thing here, in the Docker Compose, when you want to see the first Docker Compose, in that case you will see the version. Okay, everywhere. Let's say open ChatGPT and tell them give me Nginx Docker Compose file. Okay, here you can see it's already defined the version 3.8 and 3.9 is the latest one, and till now ChatGPT don't know that version is deprecated or obsoleted. So in older version we are using Docker Compose version, but in newer version it's not available for future use. So here you can see conversion matrix and legacy compose file version. You can see what it was and why we are using it. Okay, but as of now it's not required, not mandatory, so I'm not going to discuss on this topic because it's not required. Just remove it, remove this line from the Docker Compose. Wherever you see, just remove it. Okay, so let's jump to the examples. Docker Compose, I created multiple examples for you. Once you practice makes you perfect. Okay, so here we are going to do some demo. So I am going to define one command is the dup. Dup is basically the Docker Compose up -d. Second one command is I am going to define d down. I don't want to type multiple times, that's the reason I'm defining it. And I'm going to create demo. So I have already demo and here is nothing, so let's create the demo one, and I'm going to demo dir and creating the compose file. Okay, it's opened. So let's start the minimal one, demo one. Okay, so it's start from here, services, and type the service name. Service name is the web, and it is run from the Docker image Nginx latest. This is the very minimal things. Service is mandatory, without it you cannot start. Okay, so let's start the dup. Once you created the dup, then it created the network, and by default you can see here I am in the directory demo1, so it's collected the demo1 and underscore and the created default network, and similar is created the container with the directory demo1 and after that web1, right? So let's say Docker ps. You can see here it's running fine, right? Once you see Docker logs, you can see here it is running fine. So this is the very minimal. Let's add some more thing and see one by one and do practice to become a master. Now I'm going to down it, so pressing D down. Okay, it's remove the container, it's remove the network. Now there is no container, right? So let's go outside and create new directory with the help of command this one, and rename this demo1 to demo2, and in the demo2 we are going to use the same thing but adding ports here. Okay, so what it is, we already knows that this is the container port inside container, and this is the outside container. It means host port. It is host port. So let's run it. It's created the same way which we created in the demo 1, and docker ps. You can see here now it's started with the container id, image name latest, and command inside that container created 30 seconds ago, and there is one port which we interested in. So my virtual machine IP is 1.210. so let's start 210 and port is 8080. You can see here it is running fine, right? Yes, it is running fine. Now stopping it and remove, and going to do next practice. Okay, this is the demo 3 with minimal build. So let's say we already using the default Nginx, but I want to install some application in that image and I want to save it. For that we need to create again same thing. I want to create directory demo 3. What it was, oh okay, there was multiple things here, and in the compose file I am going to put this one, and I want to create docker file. Okay, nano docker file and this one. Okay, so here you can see we already covered this topic on the docker file, mastering on docker file. Here you can see docker file part 1, part 2, part 3. I don't think I need to explain this one, what it is and how it works. Yes, in compose, let me explain. Here we define the services and web. Again, the twist is here we by default use here Nginx latest, but here I want to build. And context is the current working directory. So in the current working directory there is one docker file. So let's see, it is available. Yes, docker file is available. I want to build with the docker file, and I want to save the image with the name my Nginx latest, and once it run, the container name must be with the Nginx, and I want to set working directory as code. Let's say when I enter in the container, in that case my terminal len2/code. So I want to see the my code. So where it is code available, I added volumes where I mounted dot means current working directory, and inside the container mounted this one. and again port is the same which I am using. Okay, command is the docker compose build, compose up dash dash build. It's build and run the container, and if you want to run as daemon mode, then you can use this one. Let's say if you have multiple compose YAML file in the same directory and you want to build the compose file, in that case you can define docker compose -f means file where your file it is current working directory or somewhere else, up -d build, right? With this way you can do that. Okay, so let's use this one. I want to run it daemon mode, and you can see what's going on here. I'm under the demo 3. It's taking some time. Wow, it's built and created the images. Nice. Let's do the same thing. Yes, testing working fine. Docker images. My nginx we defined here my nginx with the latest tag. Yes, tag is latest. It's created 20 seconds ago, 202 MB. So it's created, right? With the help of this build, these 3 lines, you can create your own build and save the images and run the containers. If you want to with docker compose file, in that case it's also available with these examples. Otherwise you can separately create your own image from here in mastering docker file part 1, part 2, part 3, right? So I think that's enough. Let's down it and cd dot and let's create the another directory. Okay, I want to create the demo 4 and enter. In demo 4 we added the volumes. Okay, so copy this one. Everything is the same, but here is the volume. So when you define docker file, first it create networks volumes, and after that it will create the services. So when you define volume, in that case it will create the volume first and then it will create the services. You can see the top level is the services, volumes and networks. We already explained here. Where it is, yeah, services, networks and volume. This is the core component of docker compose, right? So it create first volume, and after that attach this volume here to inside the nginx container. So whatever we put inside the nginx container, it will be persisted. It means our data saved in the volume. To know volume, you need to again watch my volume videos here. Docker container volume 13, 14, 15, right? Let's see there is one volume or not. No, this is the default volume. So let's start the container, right? Here you can see it's created first network, and after that created the volumes, and after that the created containers. So hierarchy is first it will create the network, second it will create the volumes, and third one is it create the services. Services means container, whatever you define in the docker compose file, right? And let's check it. Yes, it is working fine. And let's check the volume is created or not. Here you can see before that it was some random volumes, but now demo 4 web data is available. Here you can see volume created, demo 4 web data, the same thing you can see here, right? So we have done the demo of 4, right? So let's the down command. I want to down it, and let's outside, and let's start the demo 5. Once you start demo 5, here I added the network. So network, by default multiple types of network available. We will cover in the upcoming network session, but as of now consider this type is bridge, and I will give you guide how you can identify, so no worries about that. So here the same thing again, we define the network, and the network name is webnet, and driver, its type is bridge. Okay, and webnet is the name, so again type the network here and use the webnet here. So why it is in single Docker Compose, you can create multiple services, you can create multiple networks and attach multiple networks to multiple services. Let's say you can create network for database, and database only call from API. So in the API and database you can attach the same network, but in the web you can attach different network. So this is the example, we will see it in upcoming session, don't worry about that. Okay, okay, it's done. Network created and container demo 5 created, right? So let's see here, and docker network ls, you can see here bridge 5 again, demo webnet created with the driver bridge, and you can see multiple types of driver here. One is the bridge, one is the host, one is the null. I'm not going to explain here because this is not the this topic, and we will cover in the upcoming session. So our demo is done, let's down it and cd ... and let's create the demo 6. In the demo 6, what we have done, we are using the network and volume at once. So here we defined volumes, here defined networks, volume you can see, and networks you can see. So our top core services, top components, where it is, yeah, the core component of Docker Compose is service, network, and volumes. We use the service, volume, and networks, 3 components all we used at once. So let's save it and type the command tab. You can see first of all it will created the network, it is created the network, and after that it is created the volumes, and after that it is started the container. So we can test it, it is working fine. Yes, this is the default page, and docker network ls, you can see this is the demo 6, right? And docker volume ls, you can see demo 6, right? So let's down it and jump to the next exercise. Now this is the exercise number 7. So in the exercise number 7 I covered many things, let me tell you here. The demo 1 is the minimal, and demo 2 was minimal with some additional things. I added additional port, and in demo 3 we added the build. Again it was minimal, and demo 4 added volume, it was minimal but added volume, and demo 5 again added network. Demo 6 it was the intermediate and added volume and networks as well, and demo 7 is the expertise. So I am copying this compose file till the end and I am pasting here and closing it, and this was the compose file, and there is the env file. Okay, nano.env, and copy paste it, done. And there is the one env, and copy paste it. That's it. One more thing here, if you don't want to write it manually, then you can do one thing, clone GitHub repo, and there is all practice under the demos series here already created. Let's say demo 7, you can find out all these things, right? So just clone that demo and verify the command docker compose config and d down cd dot, all these things you can do from each folders, right? Let's explain. So I'm going to again opening the compose file here. This is the YAML format anchor. We defined the x default as default, and in the defaults I defined restart unless stopped, logging driver as local, and this is the, let's say this is the global variables you can say, or global command you can say. Whatever you want to define here, once you define here and you can use this in any services, then this will be by default applied in that services. So in the services you can see here db, and I added the default means I added these things. So I don't want to repeat, that's the reason I defined this one separately and defined here and the defined here. Otherwise we need to put these lines here and here again and again. So avoid repetitive tasks using anchor, right? So this is the services. Under the services I use the db, image postgres alpine, and container name is the db. env file, in the env file I use the .env underscore db. So let's see where it is. Yeah, .env db. In the .env db I added two variable, postgres user and postgres password, right? By default it will check and add in the containers environment variable when it's start. Health check, I think I covered health check or not. No, I will cover health check in separate video. In health check, by default service itself check their own services is running or not, right? So that is the health check. In the postgres health check I created the name with the test and cmd cell, pg is ready -u user, interval 10 second, timeout 5 second, and retry 5. And one more thing here, I added the network. I added the nginx, and once go down here you can see network name nginx and driver is bridge, name is the nginx. Label, this is the metadata. Again we are using the metadata for service discovery. So this is kind of annotation you can say, which is basically used for service discovery or some query using the Docker API. When you use Docker API you can query which kind of network, or let's say in the query you can find out the purpose equal to front end dash network. So it is very helpful for heavy application if you have multiple applications on the running on the single host, right? And I added alias, and in alias you can see db.internal. So my service db will be available inside the container with the host name db.internal. Once you ping db.internal from any services in this stack, because these are in the same network, right, then you will be able to ping, you will be able to connect to the database server. So let's jump to the next service. Next service is the Nginx. Again, Anchor used default one. One more thing here, you can see this is the not my Nginx default one. This is the customized default one which we customized in the build one. Here we build the image name my Nginx latest in the demo 3, where we installed a stop, IP utils ping, nettools, DNS utils, traceroute. So I think I have almost all debug related commands, and I want to set the container name as Nginx. One more thing here, let me exit it. Before that, when we were creating, in that case it's creating the container name with the demo 6 web 1. It's by default getting the folder name, and after that putting service name and -1. This is the default format, but I don't want like that. That's the reason I defined the container name here, and platform is Linux AMD 64, and I defined host name. Host name is the Nginx working dir. So by default Nginx working directory is the this one, and depends on. So we already discussed on this topic. Depends on is the, again, once db running and condition service is healthy. So in the db you can see health check we already added. So add condition if your health check is added in the service, right? And profile. So in profile you can define any name or blank. When you use blank and this one, in that case you can run your container with let me tell you, yes, you can use either profile like this, docker compose -f, remove this file if you don't want. If you want to, then you can add it, dash profile, and profile equal to Nginx and up -d. You can run with this command these services, and these services depends on the database. So it's first create the database. Again, profile is not in the db, but it will start the db because it's dependent services, right? So it's start, and it's run it, and after that it's start the Nginx. Again, either you can run this docker compose up -d. So there is no profile, so I added no profile also here. So with profile, without profile you can run. Again, in some services I am using this kind of scenario where I want to keep default, but in some scenarios, some services, I only define the profile name and remove the blank one, because blank one when you use, then docker compose of d work with that profile. If you don't want to run those services, so remove this blank line. Network, again using the same Nginx, and alias is web internal. So we are using the same network, Nginx here, right? So both are in the same network, so we can connect to each other, and we can ping, we can do whatever we want. And network mode, here is the network mode, means there is two type of network mode. One is the host and one is the ports. You can use at once only one. Let's say if you use ports, this ports is 8080 to 80, either you can this one, either network mode. if you going to use the network mode, in that case you need to comment out these two lines and you can use this one. So what happened during the network mode? In network mode, this application by default exposed to host on the same port, whatever in your container defined, whatever your container defined during the compose. Let's see, let's show you the compose file where it was. Yeah, you can see in the docker file I exposed 80. So by default it is exposed to host, so no need to add extra things here. This will be helpful when your application is running with multiple ports, and if you want to open port based on your requirement, and if you require multiple times you need to open port. In that case, instead of recreating the container, you can just run it in with the network mode. Again, expose we defined, you can overwrite it if you have not defined in your docker compose file. DNS, you can define the DNS, either you can use Google, Cloudflare, or whatever you want. Maybe if you are running in Azure and Google, then based on your flavor you can change your DNS record. And here you can see added two types of volumes. One volumes, you can see it's defined the Nginx HTML, that is you can see Nginx HTML volume here, you can see here. But I don't want to use that volume. Instead of, I want to use some variables here. I want to use placeholders. So in the placeholder there are two types of things. There is one docker compose volumes from here to here, you can see. This is the environment variable. The condition is inside this variable. If this variable available, then use this one. Otherwise, if it is not available, then by default go this one. So when you open the env of default one, you can see here I not define docker volume storage. So docker volume storage is empty here, so it is going to create folders in the mnt and docker volumes, and after that nginx, and after that html, and point this one to this share html, right? And one more thing here, you can see you can add your default conf certificate and other things, and you can add some more volumes if you require. One more thing here, in the nginx you can see I'm using the environment, and in environment I am using tz equal to time zone. Time zone, again, it's taking from the here in this variable. So again, this is the placeholder, right? And similar, if you want to define placeholder like this, then you can use this kind of placeholder as well. So nginx host is the example.com, nginx port is this one. One thing you noticed here, in the nginx I used environment, but in database I used env file. Where it is? Yes, env file. So I will cover this topic, env file versus environment, what is the difference in upcoming session. So let me just tell you in a single word. env file I am using for the database, and .env is the default for all the application or services. So once you see .envdb, I defined only related to those services variable, and in env this is the global services, so you can use like that. And in extra host, if you want to define extra host, then let's say your API is somewhere else outside of this host, then you can define, let's say this is the you can see here 210 IP is 192.168.1.210, and my API is running on the 1.11. In that case you can define extra host as well. Health check again is the same thing. And one more thing here is the deploy. In the deploy I want to add resources, and resources I want to with the limits. In the limits I want to CPU 0.5 and memory 512. This is the limits. Limits means maximum limits where container can use, and after that it can throw error. And reservation is the minimum value of the resources where it is start from. So CPU is 0.2 and memory is 256 MB, so it is start from here and maximum limit is here. Logging, again you can see here I added logging here, but on the top you can see here the logging, right? We defined two places logging, and we use this one anchor, so it is override logging as well. And annotation again you can see here used to identify services, its purpose, service discovery, and there are multiple application like traffic, Docker Swarm, Portainer, and it is using for routing. Let's say traffic use routing, so it is going to use and Docker API as explained. And this is the metadata I added, latest and description, project is front end, environment is production, service role is reverse proxy. Network, you are already aware that network is this one, and driver is this one, and name is this one, and label again added. That's it. I think I explained the all things to you guys, and you can do practice. And let's run these services. Okay, you can see here it's pulling the database. Again we defined the dependency here. Nginx is depends on the database, and database must be healthy before starting the Nginx. So first it's pulling the database image, and after that it is created the services. So why it's not pulled the image of Nginx? Because it was already present, and after that it's created the network, it's created that DB is healthy, and after that once container DB is healthy, you can see here after that it's started the Nginx. Okay, so let's do something here. One more thing here. If you are writing a Docker compose file and you are beginners and you are not sure your compose file is perfect or not, you can use this command docker compose config to verify that your command is correct or not, your config is correct or not, right? And this is the compose upd, and if you have compose file, then you can use compose up-d. I want to show you something. dec is the simple command docker exec, and I want to go inside the docker nginx, right? In the nginx you can see I am under the user share nginx html. Why I am there? Because I am already defined the working directory here, right? So here there is nothing. Why there is nothing? By default page is not available. Why? The simple thing is that we defined the path mnt docker volumes nginx html. So let's go there. Okay, let me open new terminal. here, okay, cd and type this one, remove this one and go there. You can see here there is nothing. That's the reason it's showing nothing. Let's create a new file, nano index.html, and it's not writable because it's under the mnt directory. Okay, no problem. I want to write it, then we can do. Welcome to demo 7. Right, done. And now go here and refresh this. So with the help of this volume, you can use either the default volume here. Once you use default volume, in that case default index page is available. If you have some custom places, then you can define here. You can define either here by default one, either in the variable here inside this block, right? Let's close this one. Now you can see this file is available, cat, and the same thing, right? One more thing here I want to show you. I want to see stop is available or not, because it was there because we installed in the this docker file. So installed stop and IP related tools. So let's do some practice of that things. You can see here in the top memory, you can see it's showing 7.76 GB. Yes, why it's showing, let me tell you. But before that, you can see the services inside the container. So inside the container only Nginx is running, and one is the base. Base is basically we entered in the container, that's the reason it's running, and stop we running these services. Okay, let's ping the database. So when you ping the database, you can see we defined the db.internal in the networks here. So we are able to ping. Similar, we can ping the web one as well, right? Let's control C it and ping it. We also able to ping the web. Similar to, you can, if you are writing your own docker compose file, then you can define this kind of things. And we added the trace route. So let's trace out db.internal. So db.internal go through the its default gateway. So default gateway IP is the 172.24.0.2, and no, it's the default gateway is 01, and db nginx is 02. My bad. Okay, let's exit it and let's clean it. Okay, so clean done. First it's remove the Nginx container, after that database, and after that network, right? Done. And this is a not complete docker compose, because if you are a beginner, you are curious how we can do, how my scenario is this kind of things, how I can achieve this. For that, there are awesome docker compose resources for you here, okay, which makes you master. So let's see one by one. Docker compose documentation. When you go in the docker compose documentation, this is the official documentation. I prefer always you see this one, because let's say today's date is, I am publishing on it 26 October 2025, but after 1 year or 2 year, when you see this one, then maybe there are multiple commands deprecated, there are some multiple you can say commands added, there are some services added, there are some features added, there are some features deprecated, there are a lot of things happens because it's changing very vast, right? So I always prefer to follow the official documentation. Second one is the compose specification website. This specification is the basically you can find out all the things here, okay, where the resources available is the compose specification. Again, compose specification, this is the direct link, which is this one, and I have some docker compose github, again this one link, right? So open both one. First let's see docker compose specification. This is the docker compose specification, and you can see here it's a huge page, there are multiple things here. So you can review, you must review this one, how it works and how you can define the services, what it is and how you can achieve your goal, right? You can see here compose file, version optional, service is required, network volume, config secrets. They added config secrets as well, that is in used in Swarm as well, okay. Version on the top level element, and now it is not available, right? And annotation, what is annotation, how to attach it, there are a lot of things you need to understand based on your requirement. Let's say CPUs we already covered in our topic, where it is, yeah, here you can see CPUs we already covered. So similar memory and CG group, cap drop, there are a lot of things you can use commands. Also we see in upcoming session, but I cannot cover all those things. There are a lot of things and I cannot cover because it's required on the based on the usage, right? So you need to review these things, you need to review you need to read these things. Let's say DNS we covered, right? And devices, if you are using IoT related containers, then you need to add device as well. DNS search, you need to use entry point, yes, we cover entry point. env file we already covered. Required in env file there are multiple things which is override again. So there are a lot of things. I request you to review all those things. It's not possible to cover in a single video all those things, right? So I request you, you must review, you must read this page before becoming a Docker Compose master, okay? And the next one is the this one link, simple project link. And you can see this is the Docker Awesome Compose. There are multiple things, you can use any compose file based on your requirement, okay. Let's say Elastic, Logstash and Kibana. Once you open the compose file, you can see all those kind of things available here. Environment is there, health check is there, Logstash depends on the Elasticsearch, network Elasticsearch, so network defined here Elasticsearch, right? Similar, you can review all these things, you can understand how Docker Compose file works in the different kind of scenario, different kind of applications. You can see here in the traffic, the label is traffic enabled true, and routing path is here, and load balancer is here. This is not only the metadata, instead of we are using it for the service discovery and routing. I already added here, you can see these lines, right? And also it is helpful for the query using the API. And let's say Pi-hole, Cloudflare, DOTH, you can see here in the Pi-hole how they used. This is the very simple thing, but they added cap add. You need to understand these kind of things, right? So the main thing is the services, and this is written, I think, many time ago. That's the reason they not removed the version. As of now, version is not required, so don't worry about the version, right? And let's see our another one. This links is the child link of the Docker Compose web, which I opened already, so close it. And review this one also, Docker Compose website. Once you go there, you can find out related to your requirement application. Let's say if you're interested related to analytics, in analytics, which kind of you are looking for, which kind of application you are looking for. Let's say database, you want to run it. Again, you can see this is the latest version 3.9, but it is not required. And DB mounting to the host, this is again volume mounting to the host, and it's depend on the ClickHouse. So ClickHouse is the databases for the logs. There are a lot of things, right? So automation, you can use any of them, and archiving, and games if you are interested in game, internet tools. So there are a lot of things. Just see it and understand. You can see this is the Bitwarden, depends on DB, and env file is setting env, image is Bitwarden, and volume is the current working directory. This is basically mounted on the host, and this is the database. One more thing here, let's say if you added Bitwarden on the top and database on the below, but when you add the depends on, it will automatically find out these services wherever it is in the compose file. It will find out, doesn't matter, you need to put DB on the top, and after that you need to put your services in the below side, as I did here. I put the DB on the top here, and after that Nginx. This kind of scenario basically not matter, right? And let's say Vault Warden, if you want to define, then you can do those things. Project management, you can see there are a lot of applications. Okay, so media services is there, life related services is there, communication is there, file storage, file FTP, VSFTPD, you can see here. There are a lot of things. You can use any firewall, bunker web, fail to ban, right? You can see the value here. In every services, there are multiple things you need to learn. So after watching this video, I recommend you that you must review these links on Docker Compose specification, Docker Awesome Docker Compose, and this one. Okay, these links are most important. So when you understand this kind of things, then you, let's see, there are CMS, so you can check the CMS as well, how you can run CMS. This is the Bitnami, Drupal, Wiki.js if you want to run, DokuWiki is there, and Wiki.js is very good thing I'm using. There are a lot of things I'm using, but I don't want to expose here. Okay, so review this one. And next one is the again, this is the different Docker one, that is Runa Becker. I don't know who is this, but that one is you also need to remove. Let's say you want to run Kafka cluster. So Kafka cluster, how you can run it? This is the simple thing, Zookeeper and Kafka UI. Broker, they added broker 1, broker 2, and broker 3. So very good things available here. Similar one is the HexNet. In HexNet you can find out the same thing. There are a lot of services, one by one here you can find out based on your requirement, right? And let's say if you miss something in this documentation or you don't have time, then you can get AI powered help. There are multiple chatbots, LLM assistant like ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloudy, Grok, Copilot, Perplexity. There are a lot of things, and even which I not typed here name. You can take help from them, right? After completing this demo and reviewing these links and reviewing this compose file based on your requirement, understand it, I hope you will be master. But for that you need to give time, you need to do practice. One more thing here, let's say if you have docker run command. So what you do, how to convert it docker run to docker compose? It is very easy. Use the IT tool. I prefer IT tool. In IT tool there are a lot of things here. You can just go on IT tool and IT tool type here docker. You can see here docker run to docker compose converter and paste command here. You will be get docker compose file, download file here. Again it's giving the version, it is not required, it's deprecated, right? And the second one is the Composerize. So Composerize is also available. You can use any of them, but I prefer this one because we have a lot of tools here. Token generator, hashtags, there are a lot of things available here. You need to review this tool. Okay, let's see. I want to show you docker run. Okay, I have one command here. I want to put it. Yes, this is the same command. I have one FTP server, so I want to convert that command as well. Here is the some variables and I want to convert only this command. So once you put, you can find out this one. Just remove the version and use it. That's it. Essential docker compose command is docker compose update, down, ps, logs, builds, restart, config. There are a lot of things, and also I recommend help of take a help of AI powered chatbot or LLM, and it will reduce your time. Okay. Best practices is keep services modular and independent, and use YAML files for secret and config. Do not hard code secrets in your docker compose file. Always keep secret in .yaml file, as I explained here. Always pin a specific service image version. I think I showed you. Let me open. Yeah. What is this mean? Always pin a specific image version. So I used in here the latest and any their latest. Don't use latest in your production. Once you build, let's say I build the Nginx app. In the Nginx app you can see the latest and the tag this one. Again go to the PHP app and see the latest and this one. You can put tag whatever you want, doesn't matter. I keep the date and after that the build time. Okay, so always prefer to use this one instead of latest. It will be helpful for the upgrading your services. And let's say if you have multiple services and you have complex configuration, so let's say you configured Grafana, or you can configure GitLab or Kafka. So Kafka configuration, you had done configuration, and after 1 year you unfortunately rerun with the latest image, and some configuration deprecated and some configuration added. In that case your whole stack will be down. So don't use latest version in Docker Compose until you are aware. Use volume for persistent data and commit your compose YAML file in your version control. Use health check to monitor the services readiness. Okay, final thoughts is very simple, and this is connect with me, right? So I think that's enough. Once you done the practice, then you will be a master of Docker Compose. And you can see here I am running multiple services on the self-hosted on my Proxmox. That's it for today, and let me know what you guys think. If you have any question, leave a comment. Thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead. See you in the next video.